This man's name is JayWilkinson, and I want you to give him a huge welcome to the stage at TEDxLincoln. Jay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll be honest, it feels a bit awkward to be referred to as a grandfather. My 20-year-old daughter and her boyfriend are here in the audience today, so I hope she doesn't take that literally. This is just kind of a special designation for today only. So I also want to just express my gratitude to Randy and the amazing work that he's done with TEDxLincoln and throughout the community in his lifetime. I will say that I come across a lot of people in Lincoln. There are people that are great talkers, and there are people who are great doers. And Randy is one of the great doers of our community. And I will also share that since I got to know Randy really well about a decade ago or so, and we started having these conversations about bringing TEDx to Lincoln, he's inspired me in so many ways. The greatest compliment I can pay to someone is that he's inspired me to want to be a better version of myself, and that's what Randy's done for me. So one more time, to make sure I don't let this moment slip away, I'd like to ask you to help me again acknowledging Randy Bretz for the work that he's done. So imagine if everyone you knew in the world was exactly like Randy Bretz. That might freak his wife Jan out a little bit, but just imagine if everyone were the same. Imagine if we all spoke the same language, the same dialect. We had the same interests, with the same political beliefs. We worshiped the same God. We had the same skin color. We read the same books. We listened to the same music. We rooted for the same team. How dull, unimaginative, and boring would our lives be? That is not a world that I would want to live in. Because, the real essence in life is found in our differences, not in our similarities. And I think one thing that I would really like to focus on today is that the essence of life and our differences is really fundamental to the theme of TEDxLincoln this year. In fact, I really love the theme. Bringing people together is not about bringing us together so we're all the same, so that we speak and do the same things. Bringing us together is about celebrating our differences, because it's in those differences where the real nectar of life is found. And the ideas that bring us together that we're going to hear today are going to come from a lot of different ways. We'll hear a lot of stories today. Sometimes we share through music. Sometimes we share through play. If you don't speak the same language as someone else, we might share by just smiling eyes, or a gentle touch of a hand, or a squeeze of an arm or a shoulder. These kind of things just melt away those differences and create the common bonds that bring us all together. And today we're going to hear a lot of stories. You'll hear music. You may shed a tear. I guarantee you're going to laugh. I spent an entire week in an RV with one of our speakers today, Maddie Merritt, and I still hurt from laughing on that trip. You're going to experience a lot of things, up and down, and we're going to experience them together. One thing I can assure you is at the end of the day today, as an audience, we're going to be closer together than we are as we start off this morning. So I also want to just touch a little bit on the city of Lincoln and how special and amazing it is to be in Lincoln, Nebraska, right here, right now. Since I've come to Lincoln, every politician in Lincoln has opined on and on about how amazing Lincoln, Nebraska is and how great it is. That's their job. That's part of the job of a politician, is to share that. But something really transformative has happened in the last 5 years or so. Everywhere I go and everyone I talk to, citizens of Lincoln are truly engaged and really inspired by what's going on in our community. What's happened in the Haymarket and Antelope Valley and all around Lincoln have people really fired up and energetic. We're on all these top 20 lists, and everybody's talking about how amazing it is to be here. And it's true, more so ever than it is today. I feel really proud and privileged to be part of this community. And I hear all the time people talking and asking about how can I contribute, how can I make a difference, and how can I get involved? And it reminds me going back to 1961 when JFK spoke in his inaugural address, and he uttered the now famous words, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." We've all heard this. What most people outside of Nebraska don't know is that those words were actually written by Kennedy's speechwriter, Ted Sorensen, a Lincoln High School graduate. Isn't it fitting that a Lincolnite, a fellow Lincolnite, is the one who wrote those words on how to bring us all together? If you go cross over the bridge over by the Pinnacle Arena, his words are also inscribed on a wall there. They say, "Our surest protection against assault from abroad has not been all our guards, gates, and guns, or even our two oceans, but our essential goodness as a people. Our richest asset has been not our material wealth, but our values." And Lincoln is a city that's just steeped deep in values. My wife and I actually wanted to put the Lincoln values to a test recently. We've been talking for years about doing a social experiment, as we called it, and we wanted to know what it's like to attend a Husker football game here in Lincoln, Nebraska, as fans of a visiting team. We've heard that it's an amazing thing, so we actually did it. Yep, it was a crazy process. Down to the socks, my wife's earrings, our Oregon earrings, down to everything. We had deep backstories that we could share. And we made a pledge to not break character the entire day. And we set out Saturday morning and hit dozens of tailgate parties. And everywhere we went, people brought us in. They said, "Welcome to Lincoln," more high fives than I can possibly count. And people asking us questions about our team. They knew more about our team than, of course, we did, because we didn't know anything about the team. We had to make everything up. But we met so many awesome people along the way. This woman in the upper left-hand corner here took us in when we came somewhere around here at Kimball Hall, and she insisted that we stay with her. "I'm going to show you what you need to see. This is the most amazing thing you're going to see." And she walked us over to make sure we walked in with the band and got to see them marching by. And she was insistent about making sure that we had an amazing experience. The gentleman, the pirate Husker, I'm not sure where that came from, handed us green beads. You know, as visiting fans, the colors are green, and he gave us green beads that we could wear around our necks. And the usher was just incredibly kind and generous and welcoming everywhere we went. We didn't pay for any drink, any food, anything all day. It was an amazing experience. In fact, we've decided we're going to come back to every game as visiting fans now. I highly recommend it. But you know, it's really, really cool to see this kind of stuff happening in Lincoln, Nebraska, and what's going on. And I would like you, as we're getting started today with TEDx Lincoln, to consider taking 4 different attributes out of what we learned from that experience and what I've learned from past TEDx experiences. Number 1, be curious. 2, be vulnerable. Be kind and be grateful. And I already know you're curious because you're here. You came to this event today and you're ready to take it on. Vulnerability, to me, is the most underrated characteristic of a leader or as a good friend, somebody who we just all revolve around and you like to get in their orbit, because vulnerability is not weakness. It's the most accurate measurement of courage, according to Brené Brown. And I think it's really important that we think about that. And then, of course, there is the essence of kindness. When I was 15 years old, I had the really good fortune to be able to participate in a summer leadership workshop put on by an organization called Launch Leadership. It's an organization here in Lincoln, Nebraska, that has trained thousands of high school students all across the country how to be leaders in their schools and communities. And I got plugged into this organization just out of serendipitous luck when I was a 15-year-old, and it changed my life. When I was in my little group of 12 students from all around the state that came together to bond and in a really interesting way, when I left that room, there was a sign that hung on the wall, and my leader allowed me to take it with me. And it said, "I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again." And I think if the entire world, if every human just walked around with this instilled deep into the marrow of their bones, and this is the way that we acted and thought, what an amazing world it would be. And then there's the essence, again, of the last attribute that I wanted to share with you, which is the essence of gratitude. I've become a gratitude junkie over the last several years, watching tons of TEDx talks about gratitude and understanding how important it is. Showing gratitude is the simplest yet most powerful things humans can do for each other, according to Randy Pausch. He's the one who authored the last lecture, the gentleman that in his last days brought his students together and gave them valuable life lessons. And it's amazing to think about how these people have put together so many things for us here on this TED Ed stage today. I'm very grateful that we're all here today. And I'd like to just finish with adding a 5th onto the list, and that is be present. Or to put it another way, be where your hands are. be here today. I know we've asked you to participate on social media, to plug in and share some of the lessons and the inspiring stories you hear about. We've asked you to do that, but I would encourage you also to avoid the temptation to jump onto email and start reading about Brad and Angelina, their latest trials and tribulations, whatever you're thinking about today. Focus on the experience at hand. These speakers that are about to come on the stage today have literally spent months preparing for this day. The volunteers have spent weeks, and they've been at it for an entire year preparing for what we're about to experience this day. So let's give them the respect that they deserve for the time and effort that they put in, and let's get full value out of it. Invest in this day. Invest in yourself for being here, and you'll find some really magical things that happen. I just want to finish by saying thank you so much for being here. I know there are so many things that we could have done with our day today. We're pulled in a million different directions. The fact that you chose to be here and part of this experience is a really awesome and magical thing. So thank you for being here, and welcome to TEDxLincoln 2016. Thank you.